Hey, hello guys. Thank you for watching this. I'm going to read some random posts from my blog in hope that it could get popular next time. And I also want to remember stuff. The key to wealth is gratitude. The scarcity of the world is not of time nor energy nor money, but of mutual solutions. Yeah, a little explanation is that some people think the scarcity of the world is about money, like people don't have money. Yeah, I guess that's true, but in essence it's not about money. It's not all about oil, it's not also about gold or nor food. It's about solutions, guys. So mutual solutions, and I'm going to explain later why. But solutions, um if there's a solution to not get hungry without food, and that would do. If there's a solution for a car to run without oil, that would do. If there's a solution for frying food without oil, that would do. And and so on and so on. So that uh, that is the mindset. And then that is an assist to this next statement, is that the reason why we are living in scarcity in one way or another, right? In every person there's has their own scarcity. Some might some a lot of people would say worse than others or better than others. uh, the reason why we are living in scarcity is because we are not giving back enough to our sources of solutions. So let's say, for example, compare a community that doesn't give thanks to the people that have helped them to communities that do give thanks to the people that help them. The community that doesn't give thanks, that doesn't give back, is going to thrive only to the extent of the resources that available for them to take. But since they're not maintaining it, uh, that that would be the end of them after they ran out. So if you give thanks to the inventors, for example, Mr. Tim Berners-Lee, the inventor of the World Wide Web, and there's a lot of other inventors I should have known. Peter Diamond, for example, with in his Nobel Prize winning journal about search friction, um, and Robert Schiller, Paul Kruger, many other inventors. Um, yeah, if you give back to those inventors, probably maybe even your mom, your dad, people who have solved your problems, life problems, right? If you give thanks, if you give back, there's sustainability there. And and if you could enhance the circuit, there that is a sustainable prosperity. And sustainable prosperity would translate to prosperity, because things that are unsustainable will not sustain and would not continue. It would in the end, we are left off like the state that we are in right now. We are not seeing it anymore. We're not seeing, and that means it doesn't exist, right? It existed in the past, but it's not anymore. I'm not saying that some good things in the past are actually bad. Some good things that are not here anymore. But in essence, things that are bad should be solved, and things that are good should be propagated. We haven't figured out the solution, but we know that is the direction for sure. Um, am I talking about what's real or what's supposed to happen? I believe this is real, right? Like everything works in a circuit. In like it is some people, the fact that some people actually doubt this notion, or still debating people, or they are trolling or something, shows that there's not enough assurance about this. So people couldn't find a good enough standard to fall back to. But I just hope I could contribute to that, even though I could not provide something that is complete. But to the extent that it is relatable to people, I do believe that if you could relate to it, if it makes sense to you, please convince other people as well. If I'm wrong, please leave a comment, or yeah, please leave a comment on why I'm wrong. I am aware there are a lot of evidence of um, what do you call it, a zero sum game, and the prevalence of the zero sum game. But if there's the solutions, if there's the solution for that, it would be solved. Okay. This could be elaborated for a long time, but I do want other people's feedback. If not, then I would be talking to myself to the end of my age. I don't want that. What else do I got here? Let's do year 2011. um I want to talk about something in English. Digital middleman's role in terms of the economy of help. I tend to answer these questions. Who are the end users of digital markets? In terms of share market, investors who bought shares to gain control and want to help to improve the operation of the company, or investors who bought shares to hold them, enjoy their dividends, improve the company's power to own assets. Currency market, investors who bought currencies to use them in trading or for other purposes like anticipating fluctuations. Number two, who are the digital middlemen? Both markets, those that bought shares and or currencies only to sell it again at higher price. Now, my further question is, what help do those middlemen provided? Wouldn't it be cheaper for the end users to just buy straight from another end user? This is digital markets where it easy to meet each other. Okay, I think you guys get my point, right? In terms of real world situation, you need the middleman to deliver the goods to you. They set up a shop or something like that. That is helpful. But in a digital world, what's the role of the middleman, right? And I now think that uh, we have evolved based on that fact that there are middlemen in the market. So you cannot just get rid of them. I'm sure that they play a role in one way or another. With Like Jesus said like this, right? Wheat grows together with grains, and if you want to uproot the wheat, you would have uprooting the grains as well. So it's better to wait for the grain to mature and then uproot everything, and then separate them afterwards. You know, it's in a case like that. Do I need to make sure to ascertain more about this concept? I think there's still a weakness, of course, in this post. Um, for example, I said that those the digital middlemen, what kind of help that those digital middlemen provided. um, if there are less participants in the market, or the market is not that popular, there's a tendency for the price to go down too quickly, right? Because it seems like the market is not crowded. What's the opposite of crowded? Is the market is quiet. The market is quiet. The market is too quiet. No one wants to buy anything. No one wants to participate. There's a marketing benefit in being crowded. So yeah, those middlemen has done that, contributed in that sense. There's also, for example, like the end buyers don't want to the end buyers doesn't always online, right? They are not always online. So these middlemen, when they are online, when they bought the shares, they are online. So when these end users are offline, these middlemen are still playing their games and stuff, keeping the products available even though digitally. So yeah, I was like, I I should, and even now I don't know better, right? That is to the extent of my knowledge. I'm sure there's still more, but ideally, if you ideally, right, you don't want the problem with the middleman is this: they often like to trade in a way that is not objective, right? After certain times they are trading, the prices are not really like, it's detrimental in a way that you, for example, you need the nickel, right, or oil, okay? it the price of oil now in the market has become too high because people have been trading it. People are not even using it. The one that is going to buy the oil, uh I mean, the one that is going to use the oil is not really buying from the people who provided the oil. Is they're just buying it from the middleman, and the middleman, the price that is in the market currently doesn't really reflect what's profitable for the producers. It's just that the prices has been increasing so much from so many times they traded, and so many hype of probably misinformation, and that is not a good information. That's going to give a problem for the potential buyer. The prices is overpriced in the market while they actually need the oil right here right now. That could be a problem that is brought by that were brought by the middleman. So what's the solution here that I thought? um I actually thought about something. So probably next year, 2012, something about rating agency in the share market. Uh, Wait a minute. I still remember, but I also want to read it. Where is it? So, uh, sorry guys, please wait, bear with me for a bit. Okay. Um, okay. From what I remember, right, the solution is this. Like, so you have a group of traders. You would want to rate them based on their history. So the how many amount of share that they have sold, and what are the prices now. So, for example, they've sold the price of Tesla, for example, and now Tesla has increased in price sevenfold from before. So their rating will be high. So not only based on price, the differences in price of the past and now, you would also have to calculate all of the dividends that has been shared. So you gotta objectively reduce it to the right unit, comparable unit, right? uh, how much is the price of an individual share? So not only the individual share paper or note, but also the percentage. So how much 1% now compared to 1% later. Yeah, so you got to reduce it to that, compare all of the differences in price, or maybe if not, the dividends, because what we want to compare is the benefit, the spread is the benefit from the past until now. So what we want to find is the trader. What we want to rate are traders are who whose things that they've sold are good, compared to traders whose things that they've sold are bad. So usually, so in this way we could figure out, uh, and also encourage traders who keep on selling things that are good, right? So if you, for example, you make a lot of money in the share market, but all of the things that you've sold to people, now their prices are all low. Some people said, "Whoa, you are winning," but this rating shows that you all of the things that you sold, historically speaking, are bad products. So it is also a good information. It's also a good decision for people to avoid you. Okay, because things that you sold, things that you usually sell, doesn't the price is always go down. So people think, you know what, let's not trade with him. That is an information, that is an information from your statistics. I think that's useful, that encourages people to reward performance. Again, that's, and I also think that the power of capitalism lifting so many people out of poverty, right, is in the meritocracy. The fact that people in the past could not really tell apart the all of the sacrifices and the benefit that was brought by the capital owners. The fact that they, instead of spending all of the money that they got, they save it up little bit by little bit, or maybe one at a time. And 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 after they're getting all of those money, okay, let's not talk about credit now. Let's talk about like hard uh saving. Okay, all of those money that were saved, okay, they use it to buy asset. It is not even a consumable thing. It is not food, it's not fun, it's not anything, it's not something that they could enjoy, but it is an asset, something that produces other things for other people's enjoyment. Could you imagine the sacrifice and the fact that people couldn't appreciate it in the past? um, but they appreciate it through the mechanism of capitalism, shows the reason why capitalism is so good, is so good, because of this lack of information that people get. People just don't get it. It's meritocracy. But what I'm trying to say is, even though we are focusing on meritocracy, right? Oh, reward the professors, the inventors and stuff. But we didn't notice that all of the contribution made by asset owners. It is really hard, guys. It is really, really, it's crazy. And not only those asset is not consumed directly, it's not for direct consumption. It is, there's also risk that the asset would fail, that the business could fail. Imagine that. You cannot imagine. And that is the reason why capitalism works, because they rewarded through that mechanism. People get to reward these other people who otherwise wouldn't be rewarded. And that is the that is penalized, and that mechanism, that ingenuity, was penalized by prosperity. I want to say rewarded, but I already said reward too much, but you get my point, right? It's penalized by prosperity because it's only appropriate, people just don't get it. But now that we already have all of those data, right, we could do better. We should be able to improve the system. What was it that I was talking about? Meritocracy, right? So in the share market is something that could be applied as well. Okay, yes. Next, let's go back to supposed to be doing it randomly. I want to do it randomly. Okay, let's go to 2014. I don't feel good about this. Let's go to 2018. Um, let's go to 2000 and recently 2022. This is the year where I get I make angry posts all the time. Pollution of meaning. 20th of January 2022. When you think you want to process the purest form of objects of letters inside your mind for them to reveal the word, but this freaking polluted is already angry. There was this freaking polluted meanings, dirty with innuendos, really make it hard to get to the word. Why on earth does the world condone this innuendo thing anyway? Too much. It's just crazy. Why is it so popular? Why? Why it's because it's such a bad idea. I couldn't comprehend. Was there some super prominent guy at the top somewhere, somewhen in the past decided, you know what? Let's promote this innuendo thing so that my immediate family would be the only people who would realize their potentials. And we still eat it until now. So this is the moment where I am so mad because innuendo is about lying, right? You say one thing, you actually are saying another thing. Some innuendos are not like that, but the point is you're appealing to people's neuroticism. You're appealing to people's negative emotions. There are a lot of other things that are bad. Okay, one, you are appealing to people's negative emotion because the way it translate innuendos is by what's the most negative meaning of this, and that is the answer. You can make it, you can say that, oh, not innuendos, not all innuendos are like that, you're so trash, you're so trashy. But I'm but you need an extra effort, right? So there's an extra effort to do the innuendos, there's an extra effort again to make innuendos that are not negative. Why would you do that? Isn't that just like a joke? Why don't you just make a joke and be open and be able to answer or be responsible to the things that you've said? Why would you have to do innuendos? Because innuendos is about not taking responsibility of what you say, and people cannot answer to you. People cannot hold you responsible in any way. It's just going into the back door or the window, not using the front door. The art of not respecting people's front door, and you appreciate it too much, like it is something that is to be cherished. I just can't. It's look. I don't want to go there now. It's just so. No, guys. No, stop it. It's the next. No, no. Let's go to 2013. Let's go to 2013. What might makes people tired of working are their past achievements. Yes, because for example, you have achieved well and you created the system, but the world changes, and then your system is something that is to be modified. But because you are already accustomed to it, probably your subconscious already accustomed to it. It's not that you are more stupid than the people who are new, but it's just you have to reprogram a lot of things. So it's an extra effort. Love yourself. Stop worrying about yourself. Worrying about yourself makes you lazy, and lazy would likely hinder you from being smarter. Worrying about others would make you work extra, and working would likely make you smarter. Let's be wise and love ourselves. Stop worrying about ourselves. Somehow that's just how things are. God made interactions after interactions after interactions, not to self but to others. Humans are individuals independent from God. Even God loves himself. Okay, it's like a poetry or something. And questionable question, in my opinion. Why aren't all liabilities recognized at their risk-free rate or discounted risk-free rate or the present value, and the difference between the amount and the actual cash received recognized as a separate item? Like, so this is a way of me trying to make sense of the financial statement, because this is the period where things where the fair values are popular. But I do think, like for example, the shares, right? You gotta recognize the price of shares that you own based on their fair value, which is kind of, dude, the market is fluctuating and you recognize the fair value. But of course, it's not the fair value at 31st of December or at the end of the financial year, but based on average, right? But even that is still shaky. But so I tried to figure out a solution, and then I went to the value of an asset, right, and then the value of a liability. And if we were to pay back all of our liabilities now, what how much would that be, right? How much would all of those things be? uh, that is the written value of liability. But since different debts have different interest rates, they're in a way different, right? Not all liabilities are the same. So you would want a risk-free rate discount, for example, maybe. uh, so that would synchronize the meaning of it, right? And then you got like comparable value. And then I said the difference between the amount and the actual cash received recognized as a separate item. But then there's a complication as well. Like what like now I'm talking to my past self. What are you going to do with the amount, with the contracted, with the written amount of debt you got in the contract? That is a good information. So if you do this, you're going to dismiss that. Should you put that in the financial statement in the notes or something like that? Okay. What's next? Excuses are addictive. You know what? Okay, one more and then I move on to another year. One thing I believe that no man should dominate other men except their non-adult kids. We are all equals and only God could decide when one could act dominant over other people. Therefore, I also believe in self dominion. People are not supposed to tell me or order me about my life decisions. It's bad both for me and the person. Your body is yours, other people's body is theirs. Yeah, I mean, if you're being lazy on doing these principles, I think you are being lazy in supporting humanity and will position yourself as dangerous to people openly and or behind closed doors. So I'm talking about the golden rule, right? You don't want to do to others what you don't want others do towards you. And now after that, I'd like to say that excuses are like drugs. Some people could take it, some people could not. Some people, once they made excuses, they just couldn't stop. And if you want to quit from making excuses, yes, there's a momentum in the habit. You would want to be away from gossips and people who can't stop trying to dominate other people. Yeah, they could, if people kept on gossiping about you, right? Again, in innuendo, like you cannot confront them, right? Because there's always a chance that people were gonna call you. I'm not talking about you. Go to the mental hospital. Like they don't want to deal with you, but they talk about you in the peripherals. So it's frustrating. So that's why you kept on trying to make excuses while it's actually self-defense. You got to tell this apart because it's hard to answer, because it is not like you can't how can you answer someone who don't want to be responsible of the things that they said or the things that they implying. Like, this is the difference between comedian and what do you call it? What do you call people who do this? Not even gossipers. Gossipers have even a little bit more responsibility. This I just these voices, these voices that is not black on white. Okay. This is the difference. They do use like some idioms, or they use some like words that are not direct, but you can ask them, you can help them responsibility, like responsible, you can help them, like people are clear about what they are saying, and they could answer to that, or make a conversation directly about that. Whereas innuendo, you're using the words that is different, and then how are you supposed to confront that? You can't. There's no responsibility. There's this just negative emotions. It's bringing everything towards the depression, the more depressing state of mind. Okay. And then gossipers always try to squeeze excuses out of you, even though you are not saying anything wrong, but it's an excuse and it's conflict. Let's stop making excuses and control ourselves away from conflicts. Yeah, I want to get away from that field of irresponsibility. Let's start saying no and just no. I'm not making excuses. Sorry, they are addictive. Oh, okay. But it's kind of hard when you are being put on the spot, right? This is again crazy, guys. All of these people are not being put on the spot, but because of the way they corner other people using the words. They, eh, like, you are being on the spot, right? People say things that are not clear, but you have to answer. You have It is not my responsibility. It's their responsibility. They're the one who brought it up, and everyone is putting me on the spot. Why don't you just say it in front of my face and ask me using my front door? Here's the deal, right? Like, human beings are creatures of justice, and therefore negotiations are essential. I think this is also the heart of the problem here. I think people thought that negotiations are not imperative in humanity, therefore everybody doesn't have to negotiate, which is wrong, which is wrong. This is where you don't get it. You don't get that everyone can negotiate and should be able to negotiate, could have a say and should be able to have a say. And when you say like, oh, I don't want to negotiate, it's my right, I should go away. Look, here's the deal, right? Of course you don't, you cannot negotiate every time. You have to work, you have to concentrate on other things, of course. Of course, but the difference between humans and animals are our ability to negotiate. And what, like for example, you see us in insect. If we could say, dude, don't come here. I don't want to deal with that right now, and they would like, okay, it would be a crime to kill them. But if they cannot, like you cannot do anything, they would just go here and go there. Like, I'm not saying immediately, whoa, that's an enough reason to do something malicious. No, but that makes the difference between, like, the ability to negotiate is what keeps us in a civil society. It is imperative you have to negotiate, and that is why people thought innuendo is something that is acceptable. No. First thing, you have to accept the fact that people have to negotiate. It is unnegotiable that you have to negotiate. After that, then you would have enough reason to not need innuendos. Okay? I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Please answer me if you have things that you don't agree. Yeah, and this is the problem at the time. It's still a problem right now. I think people who do this, like, there's a there's a there's a fire happening. There's a fire happening in the past in my uncle had a store, but I don't really want to talk about it and brought all of those bad memories again. But it's just that it is the way it is being handled by the government is really what am I supposed to say right now? It was there was a fire in the market, right? And my uncle's store is intact, but they said there's a risk that the building is going to collapse, so he have to vacate the vicinity. But he don't want to do that because there's still it is still a location where people come and shop. People set up shop, emergency shops everywhere, and he doesn't have to do that because he still have a part of the building intact. So, you know, without receiving appropriate, without negotiating with him and receiving and compensation and stuff, they just demolished the by the premise of, well, you know, if he would hire a builder to reinforce that building, right? Like he there's a building. The building is just there. It's a hard evidence. I don't know. You know what? There if we went to the court again, all of those problem expensive things, this so unfair, guys. It's so unfair. Anyway, it has been it's just this is you know what the you know why I don't like social justice warriors so much is that because there are people with actual problems, and when they brought up problems that are trivials, people's concentration is not being allocated to people who actually have legitimate like legitimate frustration and probably suffering, genuine sufferings. And these people are invoking things that are a non-issue sometimes, or things that are not helping those who are actually facing injustice head on. And they're like the thing that the thing that I really don't like is that some of the things that they brought up, they haven't really understood the history of it or the foundations of the argument and the reason, the logic behind people are having the culture, and they just think that they just declare that they're right and they don't want to negotiate. They don't want to negotiate as equal. They thought they are up there, and they and other people's logic, and they cannot synchronize with healthy logic as well. So it's a complicated problem. It's a demon with multiple limbs. Sorry. Next, my ultimate no. Should I be sorry about that? For some people, I shouldn't be sorry about that. What I'm being sorry about is that um, I am not giving it's like I'm being like innuendo a little bit, right? I'm not giving them a chance to change my mind or having a healthy argument with them. Like I think I should be able to do that. My ultimate version 3 year 2020 December. Wait, this is a long post. And how long have it has it been? 59 minutes. So there's still time. This is the question: is prioritizing justice always in align with prioritizing with the truth? I found the yes answer, and it's going to be quite a bit of an answer. Firstly, you could observe truthfully an event like when a person is telling a lie. You could observe truthfully when a person decided not to say anything. You could observe truthfully when a person is saying the truth. The truth is more than your speech. However, the truth has the room to grow. From my point of view, the truth is the protocol that everything follows, that there is only one true path. So when you believe in lies, that wrong perception of yours would be a gift or a fragrant present for the truth when they are being truthfully corrected. However, since there is also momentum for wrongness, one wrong leads to another in one way or the other. So believing in lies is dangerous and it is unattractive for those who are predetermined to dislike some of the particular problems associated with it. Okay, let me repeat that again. And it is unattractive for those who are predetermined to dislike some of the particular problems associated with believing in lies. Is prioritizing justice always okay? Next paragraph. But faith indeed is the reason for universal war. Humans and spirits, they are attracted to faith and fighting over it. The truth wants you to believe in him, and the anti-truth wants you to not. For inanimate objects, the manifestation of it is the quantum state. For observation would determine one's truthful positions or roles, while the quantum state enriches the exploration. We know that the truth leads to more questions, ideas, and ambitions. The discovery of the truth creates more spaces for the truth to explore. When one is being agnostic, one is being neutrally attractive, meaning generally attractive, popular sense of attractiveness. Well, that is if I am right. But just keeping the question on without trying to solve it will attract reasons to believe in lies. Lies could be believed subconsciously, and when that side of you were exposed, it is likely to be ugly. Incompetence also comes with it. So, in relation to justice, justice wants to make everyone able to access whatever it is that they wanted and needed whenever they do. Justice wants to make sure the availability of what is desirable and useful all the way in the future forever. Sometimes telling lies could prevent deadly, crippling events. When situations unfold, people wouldn't always have the intelligence to figure out the truthful solutions at the moment. Personally, when tragedies were avoided, they were all steps towards justice. But the preservation of lives prevent truthful problem solving in the long run. It is a difficult stuff. For that, the truth is the winner, and for the sake of sustainability, the need for lies will be solved. I'm not just saying that for the sake of blind ideological fanaticism or virtue signaling, but because that is the proper, the responsible state of problem solved. I wish I will always be like that 100%. It is when you still use lies, right? The problem is not yet solved because everything is the truth, reality is the truth. If there's still lies that is the foundation of your lifestyle or your business or whatever it is, your reputation or your relationship, it's still not solved yet, even though at the beginning it could prevented things that are really, really bad from happening. But if you are not clearing it up, it's still not solved because okay, I'm starting to see what the opening is for, and then the responsible state of the problem solved. The true solving of problems requires truthful assessments. And from that angle, I answered that ultimately the prioritization of justice is in line with the prioritization of the truth. Okay. The first part, if I read it again, I probably would have a better explanation. But I guess the end, justify the means for now. Okay. Um, so did I answer or not? This is the question: is prioritizing justice always in align with prioritization of the truth? With prioritizing the truth. Um, so when you lie, is it just? Can you is there instances when lying is justice? That is the real issue right here. So it's always the case that there's if you got a solution on not lying, that is superior to lying, but the outcome needs to be the same for it to be an alternative, right? uh, but when you ran out of resources, uh, lying would prevent things that are real real bad from happening. Could you say that is justice? Yes, because the definition of justice is everybody prospers, right? Everybody prospers. And if you in all different dimensions, right? Not just in terms of money or material things, but also psychological, in their soul, in their relationship, and everybody prospers in all ways. And uh, when you can that be achieved through lying? Um, you got to look at the data. You got to look at the reality. A lot of people, favor white lies. Mm, I still lean towards it. There's something fishy about that. However, though, I'm just going to assume, right? And I'm definitely going to say that I am not smarter than all of those people. Okay, so I'm going to use that premise for now, even though I cannot accept it. But I'm going to use that premise for now, and then when further on, I guess we can agree. I think we should all be able to agree that it is a temporary patch, because reality is the truth, and everything is like blockchain. Everything is going to confirm one another, everything is going to audit one another, everything is going to validate one another, that there's only one true path. There's always like that. So whenever there's a lie in the foundation, it's if you're going to scale that administration up, scary, guys. You're going to rely a high stake upon it. Scary, guys. Do you want to prosper or not? That is the question. If you scale it up, run 120 miles an hour with it, and you crash on something, guys, oh my god. So is the solution we have to go slow all the time? We don't want that too. We don't want to go slow. So you gotta audit. Audit is very important. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's been delightful that anyone would watch this. Um, I'll see you again. Leave a comment if you want. Bye.